Good day, beautiful soul family, and welcome back to On Another Level. And today I want to talk about something that Divine Spirit was speaking to me about, and it was, or pretty much showing me, okay? And it was in reference to Joseph. Now, the account is found in Genesis chapter 37 and on, and pretty much the message that Divine Spirit was telling me is that under no circumstance should anything that comes upon you, anything that press you, should it ever stop you or cause you to waver when it comes to Divine Spirit. It seems like everything in the kitchen sink will come hurling at you. And it's because you are showing Divine Spirit love. It's so interesting. You are taking time out to say, I love you, Divine Spirit. I love you, Jesus. You're utilizing unconditional love. Divine Spirit is telling me that when it comes to us, when it comes to all, unconditional love is definitely being used. It's so interesting because Divine Spirit is powerful and almighty. But yes, Divine Spirit has faith and is loyal to us. Faithful and loyal. When I think, when I was reading, and I want to read some more about Joseph. I did this video before. Divine Spirit had brought it to my mind to talk about it, and recalled it to my mind again. That when you go through different situations, beautiful soul family, don't give up. Don't give up on your purpose. Don't give up on your love to Divine Spirit. Don't murmur and complain. Don't do as the world does. Because Divine Spirit deserves better. We deserve better. If you're in a relationship, whoever's in a relationship, okay, you deserve to be with someone who loves you and cherishes you, and there's no complaints. I mean, there may be little arguments, maybe with some bewilderment, but not someone that's gonna murmur behind your back. Now I tried doing this video and it didn't record, so let me get to it. Divine Spirit doesn't waver when it comes to humanity. Imagine you go to sleep and you don't wake up. I mean, there's so much to be thankful for. Anyways, Divine Spirit was showing me about Joseph. And Joseph had a dream. He was telling his family because he was happy. He was caught up in bewilderment, but he was like, oh my goodness, this is going to be happening. He told his mother, his father, he told his brothers. And the sad part about it is that his parents were kind of leery. His brothers hated him even the more. See, their father had made a beautiful coat of different colors. And the Divine Spirit was telling me that was not just on a whim. There was instruction. You see, our purpose is tailored for us. That coat was tailored for Joseph. Divine Spirit was telling me that and hopefully I can say it in this video, because anyways, Joseph's coat had many colors, and different colors has different vibrations and energies. And even because of that coat, which was made out of love, his father made that accordingly to instructions. Okay? It was of different colors. His brothers were jealous, and so they wanted to come against that dream, his destiny. But they didn't realize, they were too blinded by hate, blinded by jealousy, blinded by fear, that they didn't realize that all that they were doing was actually getting the ball into motion. They wanted to kill him. But instead, they sold him. So they put him in a pit. Now, the divine spirit was, it felt like I was there, right? So I'm seeing Joseph in a pit, bewildered. You know, it's one thing when you know that a family member doesn't like you, but you're like caught up in like confusion when they do some things that are really out of hand. Their hatred for the brother was so much that they didn't even care that he could hear them and hear their plans. So instead, they sold him. What's so interesting is they dipped his coat in blood and said that he was killed by an animal. The Divine Spirit was saying, in so many ways, Joseph didn't have that coat. He didn't need to wear the coat because his life was his destiny interwoven. Okay? He himself was dipped in different situations. He himself was brought in different energies. Much like his coat that was tailored for him because of his destiny, because of his purpose. He was sold, but because he could read and write and he was attractive, he was able to go into the house, brought into the house. But that was because of favor. Because of what? His destiny. Potiphar's wife tried to seduce him. Thought she could have her way. You see, so many different ways. His siblings thought they can have their way. She thought they can have their way, of her way. And when they didn't have their way, because Joseph did not waver his character. See, when he was in a pit, he could have cursed God and said, "Why is this happening? This wasn't in a dream." But he didn't. He could have fought them. But he didn't. Okay? He spoke up for himself, however. He fled. She was so intense that he fled and his garment came off. Anyways, the Divine Spirit was telling me something else about Potiphar's wife, but I think that'll be another video. Anyways, the Divine Spirit was telling me that it was demonically influenced. Okay? Anyways, he didn't waver. He said to Potiphar's wife that your husband entrusts me. And I cannot do this. Integrity, character. Potiphar himself was confused, but still sent Joseph to prison. I'm sure deep down inside he knew his wife was lying. I did another video where Divine Spirit gave me information. I broke it down. I'm going to try to look for it. But with this, is about don't waver. Don't give up when things get rough. Don't give up. Joseph didn't give up. But he kept his relationship with Divine Spirit. He didn't curse God. He didn't say, why are you doing this? Why you allowed this? No. And this is where we need to be. We need to move on from milk and be more solid. Okay? We need to take a firm stand in love, unconditional love. And not waver with Divine Spirit. See, while he was in the pit, he didn't waver. While he was being sold, he didn't waver. He wasn't around his family. He wasn't around his mother and father. The siblings, he wasn't around them. He was all on his own. In chains. Brought to a place that he didn't know. But the one thing he did have was Divine Spirit. And he, like his coat, was dipped in blood. He himself was dipped in different situations, many situations. What's so interesting is that they only showed one account where he wept. All throughout all of this, he didn't. And so where people thought that he was weak and they had control over him, he was actually very strong. Strong in character. Strong in trust and faith in Divine Spirit. When he was in prison, because of his character, he was given a high level of responsibility. The cook and the wine bearer, they had dreams. Because he was so connected to Divine Spirit, he was able to help them. He didn't take the credit. All throughout the whole thing, he did not take any credit. Even though situations around him changed, he still remained the same. His character, his integrity, he still loved Divine Spirit. And he still believed in his destiny. So many things happen in our life where we may wonder, is this still my destiny? Am I still meant to do this? How many of us have asked ourselves that question when we go within? It seems like the more we go within, so much more isms and schisms pop out of nowhere. Like Joseph Cope, dipped from one situation to another situation, dipped in the blood, said he was dead. But he was very much alive. How many situations have we gone into where we feel like we're dead, but we're very much alive? Divine Spirit was telling me that there was one time where he said, remember me. Remember me. And what's so interesting is it took a while, but that was divine timing, where he was actually remembered when it came to a dream. Someone needed to truthfully explain what was going on. And this was in a unique way. What's so interesting is that Joseph in himself is unique. And because of that unwavering faith, because he stayed in tune and in touch with Divine Spirit, he continued to believe in his destiny. Even when so many time had passed, he still didn't have a heavy heart, he was still available to be used by Divine Spirit. Because there's always something bigger going on. Divine Spirit is telling me that Joseph asked him to remember me. Can you imagine so many years, so much time went by, and he must have felt like they didn't remember him? Questioned Divine Spirit, God. What is going on? But no matter what, he continued to believe. He continued to know. I'm pausing because I'm there and I'm actually seeing it. No matter how scruffy he looked on the outside, because he was in prison, he still maintained sacredness to Divine Spirit. And so he was able to be cleaned up. You see, it doesn't matter what's going on the outside. It's all about what's going on the inside. No matter what happens, can Divine Spirit still use you? Are you at that point where you're beyond milk? Do you trust? Because at this point, Joseph was like, wow, so much has happened. But I trust you, Divine Spirit. I know that I'm not alone. You're with me. Divine Spirit is telling me unshakable faith and unshakable knowing. Yes, unshakable knowing. And no time did he say, oh, it was me. Yes, it was me. No. He said, it is not me, but it is Divine Spirit. It is God that helps me with these dreams. And so because of that, he was giving responsibilities. It's like each situation that happened was a process that helped build and strengthen his character even the more. We must look at our lives in such a way. You know, when we go through situations in our life, it builds and strengthens us. And what we need to stay is in tune with Divine Spirit and always be ready. You see, no matter what happened to Joseph, he was always ready to be used. And so Divine Spirit was telling me, be ready. This is why we go within. So important to go within with self-love, self-care, self-nurture. Because there will be the harvest is many, but the workers are few. As you're going within, the question is, can you be used? Even though situations, ism, and consisms come out of nowhere, can you still continue to love Divine Spirit? You see, love is not based on what you can receive. Oh, I love you, Divine Spirit, because you're able to give me money. I love you because you were able to give me a beautiful house and all the things that I could ever want. Divine Spirit says, don't worry, I provide your needs. And so because of our needs, we are still here. But can I use you? Are you ready? Or do I have to try to coax you into helping me? Is this not the right time to use you? You see, what's so interesting is when we're, especially in our downtime, that's when we're being used. Because greater is the divine spirit that is within us than that of which is in the world. It's in the dark where the light shines bright. And so, in the dark times of Joseph, likened to his coat, many colors, different vibrancy, different energies. He was in different energies. Like his coat dipped in the blood, he was dipped in many situations, but his character never changed and never tarnished and never frayed. It still had meaning. So, beautiful soul family, this is the download for today. I hope it helped in some way, shape, or form. I know it's helped me. Be in the ready. Have a wonderful day. Peace and love. Namaste.